Hey, good morning, sports fans. Louis Diamond live from our Las Vegas handicapping studios, and you are watching the Friday edition of Bettor Center Live. And we got plenty of football action for you. And I got a whole stable of handicappers with us today. I have count them, four fantastic handicappers that really have been doing an unbelievable job just making people money. Doing a great job. So today, the four handicappers joining me will be Tony Gullidge. Good morning, Mr. Gullidge.
Glad to be here. Glad to be back in town.
And we got Mr. Paul Bovey, our special weekly guest. How are you today, Paul?
I'm doing great, Lou. It's great to be here and great to see the guys again. Looking forward to the show.
Great to have you back. Looking forward to what you got to offer for us today. Chip, the old steady Eddie, been around longer than I don't want to get too much into that, Chip, but he's been around the block a little bit, and he has a game of the year going on Saturday. Good morning, Chip. You got to be feeling good.
Good morning,
ready to
Lou.
roll.
Yeah, I'm ready to roll. Saturday, we have a game of the year, and coming off another standalone NFL winner Thursday night, 20-9 on the year.
Fantastic. And last but not least, the gentleman that has been supplying some fantastic angles of the day, and that will continue again today. It hits nicely yesterday. We'll talk about that in a minute. We'll talk about the angle for today in a little bit. But first, let's welcome Mr. Ross Benjamin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Louis Diamond, the first junior. I appreciate it very much. Good morning to all you guys.
And yes, where else are you going to get the first junior? Anywhere. Just right here in Bettor Center. So last night, pretty interesting night. I know I'll start with you, Ross, because I know you had the under in the college football game last night. You had it out there on Bettor Center. And those that took advantage of it with you, they had to sweat a little bit at the end, but it's amazing. Nothing at halftime, and you're sweating here in the fourth quarter. Nice hit, but man, man, you must have been pulling your hair out.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, should I go to bed early after watching 0-0 at the half and not worry? Well, I didn't, much to my chagrin, and again, it was just a free pick, so it's not like I had a lot on the line, but you would think that you're a lock when you have a 0-0 game at the half and the over and unders. It went all the way up to 57, went 2 overtimes, barely stayed under with Tulsa winning 30-24. Unfortunately, I was on the wrong end of the my pay selection. I had was on Arizona. Hey, I own up when I win. I own up when I lose. That's transparency and integrity. And that's all I have to go on in this industry right now. But the bottom line is 32-22 still with my last 54 NFL free picks or pay picks, which is good for 59%, which if anybody knows anything about sports betting, 59% is awful damn good, especially when you're talking about point spread betting. So it's all good, Louis, and looking forward to today's show.
All right. I had an awesome angle. Yeah, 59% is not just good. It's unbelievably good, people. 59%, very, very few people can actually do that legitimately. So pay attention, guys, when you're looking for somebody to help you out. So very good points that you made there, Ross. All right, so yes, we had a nice angle last night, but Chip, last night, I'm trying to think, you had an offer out there on the page. How'd you do last night?
No, last night we had Arizona because of our great success that we've had in these NFL standalone games.
You had
Thursday
Seattle,
night,
Chip.
Sunday night,
Seattle.
and Monday night.
You had
Did I have Seattle? And who won the game?
Seattle, but
Seattle.
you said you had Arizona.
Oh, I had the right side. Did I say Arizona?
Yeah. Yes,
I'm just thinking of how great Kyler Murray is, and he had 15 yards rushing, and I think that was the difference in the game. And I did have the right side last night, though I misspoke. Very happy we finally got Russell Wilson to win one for us after all the times we played against him. So Seattle's defense, again, is still lacking anything really of substance back there. Very fortunate to win. Very happy to come away with a victory.
All right, Chipper. And Paul, I'm not sure if you had much going with that game last night. You really didn't join us because you said you're kind of off on that play. Did you have anything by game time?
Actually, I had Arizona. I was on the wrong side. I felt they just did not have a solid game plan. They didn't run the ball enough. You had to run to set up the pass. But I managed personally to segue out of a losing bet, and I made some money via live wagering. And I played my third teaser of the year. So I was very grateful that Seattle kicked that field goal down the stretch instead of going in for a touchdown, which would have busted out my teaser. So in the end, it wasn't a terrible night, but unfortunately for those that purchased my selection and took Arizona +3, it's a loss. And of course, I always feel bad for those losses, but we carry on and we're going to go forward this weekend and make some money.
As always, it's early yet, guys. That's the world of gambling. And but at the end of the day, you got to get up and you got to do your homework, and that's what we're going to do here today. We're going to pump you with our homework for what's going on here today. We got some good college football. We have a Big Ten matchup with Purdue and Minnesota. Purdue opens up a 1.5-point favorite. I'm sorry, opens up at a pick 'em. They get a little love up to 1.5. Minnesota, not quite the team everybody was expecting this year. Total goes from 61 or 62 down to 60.5. And I'll start with you, Tony G. What do you got? What are your thoughts on this Purdue Big Ten matchup, Purdue, Minnesota?
Interesting matchup. Minnesota definitely disappointing. The last, that game against Iowa, that was a big play for us. Iowa crushed them. Here tonight, Purdue, this is not a game I'm really crazy about, but I did put out a small play on Purdue. I think the situation just sets up a little better for them, and I have no real confidence in Minnesota at this time. And I just want to mention, Lou, didn't get a chance to, that my bookie buster play was on Seattle last night, so that has me at 5-0 on the bookie buster plays I put up for sale on the site. So that's going good so far. Don't have one tonight, but hopefully the plays for Saturday and Sunday will also cash. So looking to keep that momentum going.
Okay, so in the end, when you're on bettercenter.com, guys, and you see Tony's mug there, and he's playing that horn, going, he will have a bookie buster. When you see that bookie buster, he is currently right now 5-0 on the bookie buster, guys. So I'm sure he'll have some out there this weekend, as he just said. I would pay attention to when Tony pops that out there for whatever the prices are, fairly inexpensive to win. It costs more money to not win. Simple as that. 5-0. So nice little run there. Let's keep it going. All right. So, Chip, anything on this game here tonight? Minnesota and Purdue.
Yeah, I like this game. This game is on the site and bettercenter.com for sale. Minnesota, as you alluded to, really disappointing. Got off to a horrible start. Got annihilated by Michigan. Michigan. And they had an 11-2 record last year, a number of returning players, and yet they haven't come through as of yet. I think they're in a pretty good spot at home right now. This Purdue team was disappointed last week. They thought they were ready for Northwestern, and they fell short, getting only 2 yards rushing. But if you want the definitive answer, just go to bettercenter.com and get the winner from Chip Chirimbus.
All right, Chipper. Thank you for filling out that cart. And I would recommend stopping by, showing him a little love so you can cash in a ticket here tonight. But let's see, before you do that, let's see what Ross has. Purdue, Minnesota. Yeah. What do you think?
I just want to know, is Tony playing the flute or the horn during that that segment yesterday?
I'm a trumpet player, so that would be me playing the trumpet. That's me getting into that trumpet with the mute on it, really jamming hard.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was great, Tony. I mean, you know, if all else fails, you certainly have a second career. Anyway,
as an air trumpet player.
Yeah, exactly. In any event, yes, I agree with Chipper. I have a small lean here on Minnesota. You guys touched upon it already. They've not only underachieved, they've vastly underachieved to this point. This was actually a team that was rated in the top 25 in the preseason polls and came out of the box losing to Michigan, back then we didn't think that loss was that bad, but looking back now and seeing how Michigan's done since then, losing 3 straight, boy, that was a bad loss. And then last week against Iowa, they just never showed up. So I just got this professional intuition that tells me that Minnesota is going to come up with a big effort at home tonight. Purdue missed a golden opportunity to be rated at top 25 by losing to Northwestern last week, their first loss of the year. I don't know if they'll rebound on the road like they would have been if they would have won that game last week. So I like Minnesota here in this spot.
All right, couple little touches on Minnesota. Paul, I know you don't have anything really prepared. Do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Well, Purdue beat Iowa by 4, and Iowa beat Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken, by 28. So with that in mind, I'm going to take a pass on the game, although all things might point to Purdue in this case. But it is the Big Ten, and you never know what happens.
All right. So I'll give you a couple little numbers for these Golden Gophers. After a double-digit loss at home, they come back 6-1 against the number. After an ATS loss, they bounce back 18-4-4 against the number. So if Minnesota has anything in that tank this year, this is their spot. And we've seen these teams in this position before. And ironically enough, if we look at Minnesota Vikings when they played Green Bay, their whole season was on the line in that week. Everything's changed for the Vikings now. This is that spot for Minnesota, so I would have to agree with you, gentlemen. Minnesota would be the only way that I could really venture to make a wager on this game. So tough game to call. Actually, it's a really tough week, so I'm looking forward to what you guys have to offer to help me, because I'll tell you, NFL looks really hard this week. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But before we get into that, I am going to get into the angle of the day. Now, yesterday, we had the angle of the day was any NFL road team with a total of 50.5 to 58, and they're coming off a home win in which they scored 23 points or more versus the opponent who allowed 21 or more in their previous game, resulted in 33-3 to the under. Under hits last night on a very improbable underplay, but the number was high. I even got burned on the teaser on it. So these angles, they're not the MLB, but boy, you got to pay attention to them because they're very, very meaningful in the grand scheme of the psychological aspect of the locker room. And that's where you get that information. Teams have changed since 1984, but the situation hasn't changed, and you have human nature. And that's a lot of the advantage that you can get in gambling if you can feel that vibe on those. So, but you got to look for it, and you got to know what to look for. So, and hopefully we're giving you a little edge on that. So let's get to today's, I'm looking for it right now, today's betting angle of the day. And this will also be on bettorcenter.com. So it'll be written out so you can actually take a look at it and try to absorb it a little better. But Eugene, if you could post it, please. Do you have it? There we go. So now we have a game, Syracuse at Louisville, going here tonight, gentlemen. Louisville's an 18.5-point favorite. Syracuse is coming off a 13-10 loss to Boston College, but they covered as a 14.5-point dog. Now Syracuse is 1-7, and Louisville is 2-6. So now let's look at the angle. Any college football home favorite of 10.5 to 19.5, which is Louisville, that's playing after game 5 of their season, and they're facing an opponent with at least one win, which is Syracuse, and is coming off a straight-up loss but covered as an underdog, that has resulted in those home favorites going 30-6 since 2016. Now, that's not even that old of a trend or an angle either. But at the end of the day, this angle today leans towards Louisville. So all that being said, guys, Anybody want to buck this trend or this angle? Or are you going to roll with this angle? Or maybe just ignore it. So I'll start with you, Tony Gulch.
Yeah, for me, this is a hard pass. My gut says Syracuse, but I think everything handicapping wise kind of leans to Louisville. But with their offense, the way they play, I can't lay those kind of points. So for me personally, it's a hard pass.
All right. Nothing from Tony on that one. How about you, Ross? Does the angle mean something to you today? Do you have anything different outside of that?
Yeah, well, the angle means a little bit to me today, and more importantly, what means something to me today is I always, my old cliche that I've used time and time again is think like a bookmaker. You got two teams from the same conference. One is 2-6 and one is 1-7. Not a big disparity in the records. It would indicate both teams are poor. Yet we have a Louisville team that's minus 18 and a half right now. The books aren't that kind. My lean here would be toward Louisville winning this game big, probably by 4 touchdowns. Because Syracuse, to me, it breaks my heart to say this. I'm an Orange fan, but they're horrible, Louis. They're absolutely terrible this year. And no quarterback. Their defense can't stop anybody. No offense, no rushing game on offense. So, yeah, my small lean here would be on the Louisville Cardinal. Lay the big number.
I'm tending to agree with you. I think that's the only way to look at this. I don't want to put any green on that orange. I'll tell you that. So, but how about you, Chip? Any feeling on this one tonight?
Yes, I really think that Louisville is a great play tonight. I think the trend is right on. And that trend, Louis, is not a lean, like you said. That's 30-6. That's an overwhelming trend. And Syracuse is just that bad. And that's all there is to it. And Ross is right. I'm an Orange fan myself, but I would lay green on this, Louis. I think they're going to romp on this team. This Syracuse team is barely getting 200 yards offensively a game. And the games Louisville, where they haven't committed 10 turnovers, are averaging 28 points. I can see Louisville just taking advantage of the difference here between these two clubs. A team with 2 wins really wants to do something positive, I think, on their season. They're not going to a bowl game. We're aware of that. I like Louisville.
Sure is a big number for a bad team. That's what you got to sniff out. So I think you guys are on to something here. I think we're all on to something here. And I got some love for the Orange myself. 1985, when they knocked off #1 Nebraska. I was in college. I got to hang out and party over there after they knocked off #1. Hard not to fall in love with the team after that and ride that train. So I am with you, both of you guys. But I can't, as well, can't back them Orange. How about you, Paul? Any opinion on this one tonight?
By the end of the year, Jim Brown is going to be wearing a bag over his head. This is a terrible Syracuse football team at 1-7. Now, there's a little bit of recency going on here where people are going to be fooled into thinking that Syracuse is actually a respectable team, because in that 16-13 loss to Boston College, that was a sandwich game for the Eagles. They had just played Clemson. They had Notre Dame coming up, and they clearly took them lightly. But if you go back down the docket and look at Syracuse, as was pointed out, they can't stop the run. Their offense is poor. I remember I had them against Liberty, and Liberty, if not for turnovers, would have beat them by 45 instead of, I think it's 20, or 17. So I'm looking for Louisville to really roll up the score tonight, and they're going to win big, lay the 18.5.
Well, there you have it, guys. We really have an alignment here for you tonight. And you know how we do with the alignments. Now, all 5 of us haven't agreed. We got 4 in alignment, and we got Tony just sitting on the sidelines playing his horn. So you got an alignment. Take advantage of it, guys. Now that I see the alignment, I'm going in. I'm jumping in, and I suggest you do the same too here today with Louisville minus the 18.5 against Syracuse. And if I can, I'm just trying to see if I can get you some angles or trends for the game. I don't have them real quick. So that all being said, We got a nice angle there for you today. We're going to keep coming at you with them, guys. We only missed one so far with the Buffalo game on Tuesday night, which was a fantastic angle that missed. So I believe right now we're 4-1 on this angle. We got to keep track of this. The angle's working. So hopefully it'll work for us again here tonight. So now let's get into a little bit of the NFL. I know we got a New Mexico Air Force game. Oh, wait, no. We do have the UMass Florida Atlantic game. I want to get into that game because I do know that we got an alumni from FAU who has an opinion on this game here tonight. So let's go for it here with Mr. Bovey, Florida Atlantic, up to 33.5 from a 30-point favorite. Total was 49.5 up to 51. Man, 33.5 point favorite, a 51 total. That screams favorite and under and 3 points tops per minute for UMass. What are you thinking, Paul?
Well, I'm going to be wearing my Alfred Morris jersey tonight because I am an FAU alum, and the number is huge. But this is UMass, who lost 5 of the last 7 games, or should I say gave up 56-plus points in 5 of the last 7 games last year, and have been outscored, I think it's 92-10 this year. Marshall took their foot off the gas in the third quarter and actually coasted to a 51-10 victory. Now, FAU made a quarterback change from Tronte to James Posey, and it showed up last week, and the offense really was clicking. Posey went 18 carries, 182 yards, 10 of 16 in the air. They're just going to roll it up tonight. The offense, as I said, is humming along. I ran for almost 400 yards last week over FIU in an easy win. And tonight, similar win. I think they get to maybe 48 points, and it's going to be enough to cover the number against UMass, who's like the kid that should be expelled from school. They should be expelled from Division 1A football because they just are not competitive anymore.
There has to be a point in the time where you have to stand up and say, hey, I know education is a lot more important in a school like that, but, if you're not going to show up, why go? Why embarrass yourselves like that? So they did have a little turnaround for a split second a few years back, but UMass has been, I don't want to bash them because my uncle was the center, Greg Landry's center back in the day, so I can't bash UMass. So that being said, the Owls are 1-7 under the Friday night lights. So go ahead.
Hey, they did beat Akron last year. Okay, I'll give them that. They beat Akron 37-29. So let me give UMass a little bit of credit, but outside of that, forget about it.
All right, Paul says forget about it. All right, hey. Ross, you got anything here tonight on this?
Yeah, I do, actually. I didn't know if you were going to move on, so I didn't. Excuse me for interrupting, but I thought it was important that Paul knows that we all have a number one cardinal rule when handicapping college football on this show, and that's if Chip Chirimbus can play for a team, then we don't bet on them. And Chip Chirimbus can play for UMass and probably be the starting slot receiver. So I have to agree with Paul. Florida Atlantic is to play.
Chip, we're going to test those wheels out. We know you had them. You still got them rolling?
Well, not really, but what do I know about hockey? I mean, I have no idea about this game. The Minutemen, of course, have my heart. But by the way, you talked about people just showing up, and I'm wondering if Florida Atlantic, at the time, if you had to apply to the university, or could you just show up? I don't know.
Well, I guess it depends on who you know in this world. Boo, 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 boo. All right, so let's get ourselves into some NFL, a game I know we're going to talk about here real quick on Sunday. And I'm going to lead it off with Mr. Bovey because Mr. Bovey and Mr. Ross Benjamin both have some solid opportunities to offer you here with probably the best game on the board, I think, this Sunday. And that's going to be with the Packers and the Colts. And the current line right now, well, opened up with Packers 2.5. Now it's Colts between 1.5 and 2. So a lot of love for the Colts right now. Total is 51 after opening it at 50. So I'll start with you, Paul Bovey, Packers Colts.
I'm going to roll with the Colts here. This is a very leaky defense of the Green Bay Packers that they have to face. In fact, the last three runners, Robinson, McKinnon, and Cook, 65 carries, 324 yards. Last week, if not for a couple breakdowns and drop passes and a slip by Tyler Eifert, they would have lost to the Jaguars at home, and they benefited by some windy conditions. And Jake Luton just didn't get off because of that windy weather. But if you look back, they took on a 49er team that was clearly depleted on defense. 9 catches, $184 by Richie James. He had come into the game with 15 catches in his career for like 75 yards, and that's since 2018. But they do get back Jair Alexander at the cornerback position. Kevin King is in, so they'll be full strength there. But they just don't have the run defense, and they're facing a Colts team which is not explosive, but they're very efficient with Phillip Rivers, 69% completions, 11 touchdowns. He's mistake prone, 7 interceptions, but they do feature 3 running backs in Taylor, Wilkins, and Hines, and all 3 guys can catch the ball out of the backfield. They are at full strength because they get Jack Doyle back at the tight end position. They were without T.Y. Hilton for a game. He's going to be he's in. Pittman is in. This is a game where Indy will roll up some points. I estimate 27-31. I played the Indy team total over the 24.5 early in the week when the over was at 48-49. So I got the benefit of reduced juice here, but I still think they'll go over that, and you can lay the $130 just in case you fear Aaron Rodgers. And certainly he is someone to fear because he can put points on the board. So I would go Indy team total over, and I think Indy gets the win here at home.
Okay, a little Indy at home and a little Indy total over. And Rivers, beginning of his career, he was just pinpoint accurate, no interceptions. All of a sudden, he just got beat to a pulp, and now he's interception prone. And when he doesn't throw an interception, the Colts are 4-0, and when he does throw one, they're 2-3. So you got a couple question marks here. Is Green Bay going to be able to get to him and pressure him? I question that. But the one question I have is this Colts defense that was huge in the beginning of the season, are they going to be prepared for to keep Rodgers down? So what do you think, Ross?
I think they are. I think they got off to a great start, like you said, and they cooled off a little bit, but they're still number 4 in scoring defense. And on total yards, I still think they're in the top 5, if I'm not mistaken. But, Paul makes a good point of opponents' running backs being very successful over the last 3 games against Green Bay. And now they're going to be facing one of the best offensive lines in football in Indianapolis. So I just think sometimes styles make fights, like we allude to as a cliche in boxing. And I think this is a particular instance where it applies to the NFL. And I think this is a bad matchup for Green Bay because Indianapolis matches up very well against them, not to use an oxymoron, but in any event, I'm not a big team trend guy, and you guys know that, but I am a team trend guy if it's all falls under the category of the same head coach and coaching staff. And Indianapolis has been in this similar situation 8 times since 2018. That's a home favorite of -3 or less, and they've gone 7-1 straight up and 6-1 in 1 ATS in those situations. As a matter of fact, Indianapolis since 2018, when facing a non-conference opponent at home, a perfect 5-0 straight up. And you might say, Ross, what good is a straight up figure when it comes to those types of numbers? Well, it's applicable here because you're only being asked to cover 1.5. So, I mean, and I'll use Chip's analogy if I could steal that from him. That if, or his belief system, I should say, is if you're laying 1.5, 1, 2 points, you might as well play the money line anyway because you don't hesitate to lay 130, 135 in baseball. Why would you hesitate here? And also, one final point when it comes to a team trend. Since 2018, again, Green Bay has gone 3-7 straight up on the road following a home win. So, yeah, I agree with Paul. I not only like Indianapolis in this spot, I love them.
Very, very good stuff, gentlemen. Now you know why this line moved, guys. Now you're getting the details. So you could see why it moves. You guys are selling me. I really didn't have much of an opinion on the game. I thought it was a tough week. But listening to you, it sounds pretty obvious. Tony, you got something to add to these guys?
Yeah, I did note a couple things on this game. You have Green Bay solid on the road this year, 4-1. They covered their last 2 on the road, and the Colts have failed to cover their last 2 at home. I like to play that game where you intermesh these things, and as far as that is concerned, this is definitely a good situation for the Colts. Green Bay, sketchy a little bit on offense, right? That game last week, if you watched it, I wasn't really impressed. They didn't convert a ton of third downs. I noticed that they're 4th in the league in converting third downs. I'm pretty sure last week they didn't match that. And the Colts defense is good enough, I think. They may bend but don't break. They don't give up a lot of yards. I think this is a tough spot for Green Bay, a team that has done well on the road. Now they're going to go on the road and face a team with a pretty damn good defense. The only thing I will note, too, for the Colts, there's a soft spot between playing Tennessee twice. They played Tennessee last week. We were on that one. And they play Tennessee next week, which is a division game. So I just hope they're focused in the middle between the 2 times playing Tennessee. But I'm going to agree with Paul and Ross here. I think the Colts is the way to play this game.
Okay, Eugene, we need to get a big alignment horn that we can go so everybody knows there's an alignment. The alignment is on the Colts for this Sunday, everybody. So, as you know, when we align, cash, the bookmaker cries if you go out there and take advantage of it. So, all right. So, excellent information, guys. I personally truly enjoyed it because you sold me. I am on the Colts with you. I was not there before this show, so thank you very much. But if you want more information, guys, listen, these guys have guns blazing and they're ready to take down the book. So all you got to do is go to bettercenter.com, take a look at the offers that we're going to load up here this weekend. Oh, by the way, Chip, you have your Big Ten Game of the Year tomorrow. Tell us a little bit about it. Sell us to get over to Better Center and join you with it.
Better Center right now. It's excuse me.
Go ahead.
You're okay.
Go ahead.
You're okay now.
You're good now.
Yeah, it's my Big Ten Game of the Year. What can I say? It's the strongest play of the entire season. Usually I come with a conference game, big game winner prior or earlier in the year, but because of the circumstances and the games we've had canceled. But this one meets all my criteria. It's on Better Center right now. Just log on, follow the buy links, and become a big-time A-play winner with my Big Ten Game of the Year.
Chipper, what's your
opinion? Chipper, looking forward to that game, and I'm looking forward to hitting that one myself. Thank you for the heads up on that. Mr. Bobby, I know you're sending us some plays here and there, so we'll look for stuff that you have to offer here this weekend, but we want to thank you very much for joining us again. Your information has been on point and solid, so thank you again for joining us. And if you want to tell the viewers how they can reach you, that'd be great.
Well, I'll have a play this weekend. You will get my play of the day for Saturday, my play of the day for Sunday. I expect to win. I am on this indie game, but there are 2 or 3 other games I'm zeroing in on, and love the NFL. I win in the NFL, And that's what it's all about, winning and cashing tickets. And that's what we're going to do.
I plan on that happening as well. And Ross, you'll be loading up that shopping cart on Bettor Center. Any tips of what we can be looking for this weekend?
Yeah, you're going to have a 10-star top play in college football on Saturday, a 10-star top play in the NFL on Sunday, 32-22 of my last 54 in the NFL, as I alluded to earlier. That's good for 59%. Hit both of my 10-star top plays last week, and you can get that at Bettor Center Live, bettercenter.com, this coming weekend. Look forward to a huge weekend, Louis.
Awesome. Thank you for loading that cart. And gentlemen and ladies, don't mind our little mess in the bettercenter.com right now. We're making everything works. So we'll make it a lot prettier down the road. But right now, you do have access to get these plays and cash yourself some tickets this weekend at some very reasonable prices from guys that, if you look at this stage right now, we got over 120 some years of gambling experience that we're offering to you. And a lot of you guys are pretty new to this game. So let's close it out with you, Tony. What do you got for us in store this weekend?
Well, I just want to throw out, I do like Air Force tonight. It's not going to be a bookie buster play, but it is the best action I have for tonight. I kind of like Purdue a little bit, but the best play for tonight is going to be Air Force against New Mexico. And I will have bookie buster plays up Saturday and Sunday, one each day, 5-0 so far that have been posted up. Every single one is won. And basically just want to keep that going. Don't want to change anything. I'm feeling good and just want to keep feeling good at the end of this weekend.
All right, we will. I got some good vibes. We're on a nice little roll right now. We got some winners coming at you is all over the place. So a lot of winners coming at you. Hopefully you take advantage of it, and you'll join us tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Tony and I, and maybe Chipper, I don't know, and probably Dal. And we'll go through all the college football games, or as many as we can, for tomorrow morning. For the four horsemen of handicapping, Mr. Paul Bovey, Mr. Tony Gullidge, Mr. Chip Chirimbus, and Mr. Ross Benjamin, I'd like to thank you for joining us here on Bettor Center Live.